This is Sean. Welcome back to the American Soccer Coach. This video is going to be about why the U.S. men's national team result against Canada, losing 2-0, really doesn't matter that much. 2 years ago, just about 2 years ago, the U.S. got knocked out of the World Cup, got knocked out of World Cup qualifying against Trinidad and Tobago. Losing that game meant the U.S. did not qualify for the World Cup in Russia. Since then, since after failing to qualify for the World Cup and watching the World Cup go on without us, we had a presidency where Sunil Gulati was not reelected, and we had a choice of who we wanted to make the president. Through votes, it was decided that Carlos Cordero was going to be the next president of U.S. soccer. Now, Carlos Cordero basically stood for what the status quo was, which is, what I would consider Gulati, and nothing significant changed under the leadership of Carlos Cordero. So now, on top of that, nothing significantly changed with the presidency, and we needed a new head coach because Jurgen Klinsmann and Bruce Arena combined failed to qualify us for the World Cup. So we needed a new coach. Now, you would think, the World Cup happened. There's so much that we could have learned by failing to qualify in CONCACAF, arguably the easiest region to qualify in. It should have never happened. Now, you would think after the World Cup, we get somebody in that's highly qualified, and we let them get a year to get everything set up tactics, set up the style of play, set up getting young players into the fold and getting them trained in the positions and seeing if they will be ready to contribute for future tournaments. Okay, you would think that would be the case, right? But what ended up happening was we hired an interim coach, Dave Sarakin, who kept his job as an interim coach for over a year, while the U.S. held an extensive search to look for the next coach of the national team. There's two reports on what actually happened. The first report says that the person who was, played a very significant role in the hiring process is Jay Berhalter. And out of 320 plus million people in the country, Jay Berhalter decided to hire his brother, Greg, for the national team. Now, there are two reports out there. The first report says that they said that they did an extensive search on who they wanted the coach to be, and they hired Greg Berhalter. And the report says they said that they did it, and it didn't actually happen. Okay. The second one said that there's two candidates that were actually interviewed for the job: Greg Berhalter, who's now the coach, and Oscar Pareja, who is coaching in Mexico at Xolos. Okay. Now, the reason I bring this up was there were multiple coaches that would have been interested in the job. Julian Lopetegui, the former Spain coach, came out and actually talked to U.S. Soccer and said, "Guys, I'm interested in this job. Let me know if you want me to interview." He was really interested in the job. Tata Martino, who at the time had success coaching at international level with Paraguay, coached at one of the best teams in Europe, at FC Barcelona, said, he was kind of reluctant to talk about it because he's now coaching at Mexico. He didn't want to go back to the past. But he said that no one in U.S. soccer reached out to him at the time when he was coaching at Atlanta United. And again, this is a Tata Martino that overachieved with Paraguay, coached at FC Barcelona, and won an MLS Cup with Atlanta United. But, word got out that Tata Martino was not interviewed and that they wanted somebody that was proficient in English to be the next coach of U.S. soccer. And Tata Martino, he speaks a little bit of English. He's not completely fluent, but he speaks a little. But that was apparently the reason they did not interview him. And then you have Tab Ramos, who was the U20 head coach, did a very good job in the World Cup. And again, given our failure to qualify for the World Cup, you would think that with a successful U20 World Cup, we can get several of these players to get to the national team pool in the next 2 years. And Tab Ramos would be the guy that would know those players the best to get that done. In a country of 320 million people, Greg Berhalter's brother decided that he was going to pick his brother to be the coach. Whether a search happened or not is to be debated. So when I say that the result against the result against Canada really doesn't matter, it's because we have to peel back the layers. The result of the game does not happen with that coach in place, because the coach determines who plays, he determines the tactics, he determines the formations, he determines the style of play, he determines the preparation for the game. Okay? The coach isn't selected unless the people like Jay Berhalter and Ernie Stewart are there to select who they want the coach to be. So the coach isn't selected until the person above him decides who they want the coach to be. And that person isn't decided until we know who the president is. And so we have to start all the way back from the very beginning and then see every single thing that has happened that has led up to this happening. It is not just on the players. It's not just on the coach. It goes so much deeper. And so if we are only looking at what has happened on the field the last 2 years, we are turning a blind eye to what has really happened. And the most incredible thing is, 2 years after the biggest failure in the history of United States soccer, not only have we not improved since 2 years ago, there is significant evidence within the player pool, within the tactics, within what's going on off the field, that we have actually gotten what we have dropped off in the last 2 years after failing to qualify for the World Cup. That to me is incredible. And again, we need media should be questioning what has happened. Fans need to see what is actually happening, and we need to be realistic and not put this on the players. While the players have not done their jobs, there are so many layers that have led to this. So to blame the players or to even blame the coach is naive. Thank you for watching.